Today we're just going to get to know the reciprocal trig functions and maybe learn how to put them in the calculator. The basic trig functions are sine, cosine, tangent, and the reciprocal trig functions are cosecant. It's the reciprocal on the sine. Reciprocal of the cosine is called the secant function, and the reciprocal on the tangent is called the cotangent function. Now I can get the cotangent goes with tangent. The only way I can keep these two straight is to remind myself that they're not what I think they ought to be. Secant, in my mind, should go with sine, cosecant should go with cosine, but they don't. And that's how I remember them. They're not like they ought to be. So they are going to be literally defined as reciprocals. The cosecant, which is abbreviated CSC of an angle, is going to be 1 divided by the sine of the angle. The secant, which they abbreviate SEC, is going to be 1 divided by the cosine of the same angle. The cotangent, which they abbreviate COT, is going to be 1 divided by the tangent of the angle. Now, tangent is also defined as sine over cosine. So if we take the reciprocal of this form, sine over cosine, the cotangent can also be written as the cosine of an angle divided by the sine of the same angle. I hope you were able to print out this sheet, practice with reciprocal trig values. Definitely not going to do all these problems. And I hope you also have a calculator with you. Okay, we're going to start with number 3 on the class exercises. And again, you're going to need a calculator. So the tangent of 2, they want us to find the value to 4 significant digits. That doesn't necessarily mean 4 decimal places. Now that doesn't say 2 degrees. So this is going to be the tangent of 2 radians, which means the calculator is going to have to go into radian mode. Got to turn it on first. It's in degree mode now. This particular calculator has a DRG key, which changes it from one mode to the other. Some of you might have to go into mode to get it to change. So I'm going to go radians, enter. Okay, and now rad shows up on the screen. Rad should show up on your screen if you're in radian mode, or maybe just an R. And we're just going to literally type in the tangent of 2. So type in, it's not a reciprocal one this time, this is just tangent of 2 radians, close parentheses, enter. So that says negative 2.185. Okay. Does that make any sense at all? Well, let's see. I know, don't want to see any more circles being drawn. 3.14 radians is right here at pi, so 2 radians would be right here. The tangent value is sine divided by cosine. Sine is positive, cosine's negative, so the negative value is okay. Okay, 3b. They want the secant, they want the cotangent, wrong line here, 3b, of 185 degrees. Okay, so now they want degree mode. Okay, gonna clear the screen, go back to changing this back to degrees, enter, and now it says, okay, I'm in degree mode. Well, this one is a reciprocal function. There are no cotangent, cosecant, secant keys on the calculator. If you were going to get the values of these reciprocal functions, you will have to know their definitions because there's no key for them. So we'll have to just type this in as literally 1 divided by the tangent of 185 degrees. That's it. So we've got, we're in degree mode, 1 divided by the tangent of 185 degrees, and press enter. And it tells us that it's about 11.43 to 4 significant digits, about 11.43. Part C. The cosecant of 3. Well, that's one of those reciprocal ones, and it happens to be 1 over the sine of 3 radians. So, back to radian mode. Got the little rads on the screen there, and we can just type in now 1 divided by the sine of 3. So we've got 1 divided by the sine of, since we're in radian mode, we just type in the 3 for the 3 radians. And it's telling us that it's about 7.086 to 4. Now the sine and cosine values are always between -1 and 1. But when you take their reciprocals, they're going to be bigger than +1 and lower than -1. We got one more problem here we're going to look at. Secant of -22 degrees. Great. Back to degree mode. Okay. So clear. Back to degree mode. The degrees is, yeah, shown up there. So secant means, literally, 1 divided by the, not sine, 1 divided by the cosine of -22 degrees. So that's what we'll ask the calculator to do. 1 divided by the cosine of -22 degrees. Enter. And it tells us that is, now to 4 significant digits, we'd need the 1 and these 3, and this is going to round up to a 9. So that's just a hint of what wonderful things we can do with reciprocal trig functions. Your assignment does come from this page. Please check either Google Classroom or the Nearpod for the exact problems. Definitely not doing all of them. Thank you very much.